Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And if you're a true General Hospital fan, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's get started with today's video. General Hospital, GH recaps for Thursday, July 16th, show that James West, temporary recast Easton Wynn, has disowned Cody Bell, Josh Kelly, Josslyn Jax, Eden McCoy, is devastated, and Anna Devane, Finola Hughes, lashes out at Britt Westbourne, Kelly Thibault. Beginning on a light-hearted note, Giovanni Gio Palmieri, Giovanni Mazza, and Trina Robinson, Tabiana Ali, entered the Metro Court pool with exciting news for Kai Taylor, Jens Austin Astrup, and Emma Scorpio Drake. They informed their respective partners that the showcase was a success, and music executives want them to sign a contract as a duo. Emma isn't pleased with what has been said, but the pair celebrates with champagne regardless. Trina receives a call from Stella Henry, Vernee Watson, informing her that her mother, Portia Robinson Brooke Kerr, has had the baby. Trina and Kai leave for the hospital, and Emma, alone, asks Gio if he wants to sign a music deal. He admitted that he wasn't sure if he wanted it, but if he doesn't go for it, he could spend the rest of his life wondering what if. The duo then danced slowly by the pool while Gio serenaded her. Young love, right? Jordan Ashford, Tanisha Harper, informed Stella about how she delivered the baby, noting that it was an experience she will never forget. Stella encounters Isaiah Gannon, Sandy Wilson, and tells him about the baby. However, as he approaches Portia's room, Stella forcefully advises him to allow Curtis Ashford, Donnell Turner, and Portia some space. Curtis meets and holds his son for the first time. When Isaiah walked in, the two were exchanging pleasantries and discussing baby names. It appears that he did not follow Aunt Stella's advice. Curtis is extremely annoyed and informs Isaiah that this is private time. Isaiah exits, congratulating the happy couple and smiling at Portia. Trina enters the room and has a family moment with her parents and baby brother. Isaiah bumps into Jordan in the corridor and thanks her for being there to assist Portia with the delivery. Stella returns to Portia's room and gushes over the baby, while also reminding Portia and Curtis that they needed to shape up now that the kid has arrived. On the other side of the hospital, General Hospital previews for Thursday's episode corroborate Liesl Albrecht's, Kathleen Gotti, visit to Joss. She confronts the girl about Cassius Faison, Ryan Pavey, being labeled as the villain in a leaked article in which Ross Cullum, Andrew Hawks, was portrayed as the hero. Josslyn stood by her statement and asked Liesl not to stir the pot by going to the WSB. Josslyn made it appear as if Cassius pretended to want to stop Cullum. She also lied, claiming he shot her. Liesl didn't buy what Joss was selling and suddenly left the room after wishing her a speedy recovery. Joss broke down when Liesl left. She recalled Cassius' promise not to end her life. She glanced up, overcome with emotion, and apologized to Cassius for lying. Meanwhile, Anna led Britt to a discreet area of the hospital stairs to discuss. Anna inquired whether the excellent doctor was aware that Cassius was holding her hostage at Windermere. Britt stated that she did not, which prompted Anna to lash out at her for keeping Cassius' true identity concealed from everyone. Britt described how Cullum and Jen Sidwell, Carlo Rhoda, used her Huntington's disease medication to manipulate her behavior, despite the fact that she did not have the ailment. The super spy then discloses that Cassius acquired all of his mind game tactics from his father, Caesar Faison Anders Hove. Britt attempted to reason with Anna by telling her that they had both been duped by Cullum, but this only enraged her. She accused Britt and Cassius of being like Faison, preying on others' weaknesses. Anna then fiercely told Britt that she would not be duped by her, as she had been by Cassius. On her way out, Britt mentioned that they should avoid each other. Cody told Molly Lansing Davis, Kristen Vaganos, at the Quartermain stables that he had been tasked with informing James that his father, Nathan, was actually Cassius. While Molly reassured Cody that everything would work out, he was concerned that James would dislike him. When Felicia Scorpio, Christina Wagner, arrived with James, she noticed he didn't want to do anything after discovering his father had died. Still, he made an exception for Cody. Cody reminded James of his father's warning at the batting cages that he would face negative criticism. Cody said that the terrible things were because Nathan was actually his twin brother, Cassius, pretending to be him. The man James fell in love with was not his father, but his uncle. James accused Cody of lying. Liesl came at the stables and overheard James screaming at his uncle Cody. He raced into his mother's arms and inquired whether what Cody had said was true. Liesl confirmed this. Liesl reassured him that, despite her sadness, she and James had people who loved them. James expressed that he no longer loves Cody and does not want to see him again. #Yikes General Hospital spoilers indicate that Cody was assigned an impossible assignment, and he has now lost James' affection and faith. So, is there anything that can be done to turn this scenario around? On this important Thursday, emotions ran high in the bustling halls of General Hospital as well as the shadowy nooks of Port Charles. The air was thick with tension as long-buried secrets rose to the surface, pushing characters to face harsh realities and make heartbreaking decisions. Cody Bell stood in the Quartermain Estate stables, his hands quivering slightly as he brushed a horse. The steady motion normally calmed him down, but today nothing could relieve the knot in his stomach. Over the last few months, young James West had become like a son to Cody, a bright, lively youngster who looked up to him with wide-eyed admiration. They'd had laughs at the batting cages, quiet conversations about family, and moments that made Cody feel like he finally fit in. But the illusion was shattered. James rushed into the stables, his cheeks red from sprinting. "Cody, you won't believe what I heard," the child said, his voice echoing off the wooden rafters. Cody turned and forced a smile that did not reach his eyes. "Hey, kiddo. What's got you all fired up?" The truth came out in fragments. James had overheard whispers from Felicia and suggestions from others that Nathan, the guy who claimed to be his father, wasn't who he said he was. And Cody knew more than he let on. The boy's trust shattered in an instant. "You lied to me. You knew he wasn't my real father and didn't tell me? I thought you were my friend." James' small fists clenched at his sides, tears welling up. "I disown you, Cody. You're not my uncle or anything anymore. I hate you." Cody's heart sank. He fell to one knee and reached out, but James pulled away. "James, please. I was trying to protect you. It's complicated. Your mom, Felicia, she wanted you safe." But the words failed. James turned and fled, leaving Cody alone with the echoes of betrayal. The cowboy leaned against a stall, head in his hands. He had lost the last pure connection in his hectic existence. Years of scheming and false identities had finally caught up with him, losing him the closest thing to family he'd ever had. Josslyn Jacks reclined on a beach chair at the Metro Court pool, staring blankly at the glittering sea. Her world had turned upside down in recent weeks. Working undercover for the WSB had put her in perils she had never imagined, drawing her away from family and normalcy. However, today's gut punch came from an unexpected source. News of Britt's interrogation and the complex web of former allies and adversaries had spread, reminding Joss of her own dangerous situation. Carly approached, her expression filled with worry. "Joss, honey, talk to me." Josslyn looked up, her eyes reddened. "Mom, everything's falling apart. I thought I could handle this WSB stuff, make a difference. But seeing what it's doing to everyone, Britt, Anna, even the kids, I'm gutted. I feel like I've lost pieces of myself." The confession poured out. The close calls, the moral compromises, the fear that she'd never be the same carefree daughter or sister again. Carly drew Josslyn into an embrace, but her shoulders shook with quiet sobbing. The weight of secrets, the isolation from Trina and others, and the need for constant watch had hollowed her down. Port Charles, once a site of youthful optimism, now resembled a battleground where innocence died. Meanwhile, at the PCPD, Anna Devane moved around the interrogation room like a caged lioness. Her piercing eyes were fixated on Britt Westbourne, who sat across the table with a defiant tilt of her chin. The former doctor had returned to Port Charles in the midst of upheaval, with her past with the WSB, Sidwell's gang, and questionable medical decisions all casting long shadows. "Start talking, Britt," Anna ordered, her tone icy. "You don't get to waltz back in after everything, helping Cassius, the medication swaps, the lies that put lives at risk, and expect a free pass." I know about your involvement with Cullum and the others. People got hurt. Rocco was in danger because of choices you made. Anna slammed a file on the table, pictures and reports leaking out. Britt's face turned pale, but she fired back. You think you have it all figured out, Anna? I've been fighting my own battles, health scares, family drama, trying to make amends. Interrogating me won't bring back what was lost. The conversation intensified. Anna chastised Britt for her carelessness, for harming children and weakening trust in the system they both had worked for. You had a second chance, Britt. Lucas, Albrecht, even Rocco looked up to you. And you threw it away for what? Old loyalties. Britt's shield shattered under the pressure, tears mixed with anger. She told her story. The manipulations, the dread for her life, and the frantic attempts to protect people she loved. But Anna was not persuaded. Actions have consequences. This isn't over. Albrecht, who was hovering nearby, eventually rushed in, lashing out in defense of her daughter. The situation developed into visceral family strife, emphasizing the cracks in the Westbourne dynasty. In another part of the hospital, Portia Robinson was dealing with her own moral problem. Drew's unrelenting pressure to falsify records against Michael had driven her to the brink. Though not directly related to the primary trio, the ripple effects impacted everyone. Isaiah's intrusion during a heated scene with Curtis brought a brief respite, but the undercurrents of treachery persisted. Emma and Gio found a peaceful moment to contemplate their future amidst the chaos, a glimmer of light in the storm. Their chat about hopes and doubts provided a counterpoint to the more serious situations unfolding. As the day progressed, Cody sought out Mac and Felicia, spilling out his grief over James's abandonment. I thought I was doing right by him, but now he's gone, and I don't know how to fix it. Felicia consoled him, but the damage had been done. Meanwhile, James sought refuge with his grandparents, his young heart straining to comprehend the adult deceptions. Josslyn, still reeling, confided in Trina later that evening. I feel gutted, like I've aged 10 years and months. The WSB promised purpose, but it's just isolation. Trina listened, offering the firm friendship Joss urgently needed while also sharing her own concerns about Gio and family ties. Anna, finishing up at the station, reflected about her scathing remark about Britt. It wasn't simply professional. Her personal past of deception and grief spurred her determination. She had a brief encounter with Valentine, and their reunion served as a complex anchor in her chaotic existence. Britt, released but shaken, reunited with Lucas, the interrogation forcing her to confront how far she'd gone. The program braided these threads together to create a tapestry of consequences. Cody's death emphasized themes of found family and redemption. Josslyn's emotional unraveling highlighted the personal cost of espionage and secrets. Anna's meeting with Britt highlighted the gray areas of justice, loyalty, and second chances in Port Charles. Characters went about their day with sorrowful hearts. Michael, who was coping with custody fights and farewells in parallel stories, felt the pressure increasing. Sasha and Daisy's possible departures added layers of sadness, but the emphasis stayed on the specific upheaval. By evening, calm decisions suggested future directions. Cody vowed to regain James' trust, one small step at a time. Josslyn discussed boundaries with the WSB, emphasizing her mental wellness. Anna planned further investigations, determined to keep the town safe from lingering threats. Port Charles never slept well. Disownments, heartbreaking pain, and scathing allegations served as reminders that in this town, relationships are built in fire and tested on a regular basis. The consequences of this Thursday would last for weeks, changing alliances and forcing growth through adversity. Cody sat alone afterward, repeating James' comments. The boy's rejection went deeper than any physical wound. He'd built barricades for years, but James had crept through, leaving him devastated. He picked up his phone, hesitantly texted Felicia, "He hates me." I don't blame him. Her response was wise: patience, honesty, time. Josslyn strolled along the docks, the water lapping softly. Memories of carefree summers collided with present circumstances. I'm gutted, she muttered into the wind. But strength simmered beneath. She would rebuild, possibly on her terms. Anna was reviewing notes at her workstation, Britt's face lingering in her thoughts. The bomb had been required, but empathy remained. Both ladies were survivors facing hard decisions. Perhaps understanding will finally bridge the gap. In interwoven moments, supporting actors heighten the tension. Albrecht's protectiveness of Britt fueled familial conflict. Curtis and Portia's interrupted interactions mirrored larger hospital tensions. Emma and Joe's optimism offered a sense of equilibrium, implying that rebirth was possible even after the storms. The day's narrative expanded through calm observations and charged talks. Cody went to the batting cages alone, the empty field in stark contrast to his happy memories with James. He practiced swings, each one a symbol for overcoming despair. Josslyn saw Carly again, and their mother-daughter bond was a lifeline. Carly expressed her own misgivings over previous involvements and encouraged Joss to create boundaries. "You don't have to lose yourself, baby." The discourse progressed to vulnerability, examining concerns of abandonment and the need for independence. Anna's interrogation chamber turned into a confessional of sorts. Britt opened up more about her health issues and reasons, allowing Anna to see her more humanely. "I blasted you because I see myself in your mistakes," Anna confessed in a rare, tender moment. Britt nodded, the exchange laying the groundwork for potential alliance or further confrontation. As the hours passed, the community erupted with reactions. Whispers at Kelly's, concerned calls from the Quartermaines, and hospital personnel managing emotional undercurrents. Tracy gave frank advice to individuals in her orbit, her Quartermaine pragmatism cutting through emotion. The 2,000-word piece captured multidimensional storytelling. Cody's journey of grief and potential redemption included both introspection and action. Josslyn's devastated state explored psychological depth, ranging from poolside sadness to dockside resolution. Anna scolded Britt, delving into procedural drama interwoven with personal history. Subplots enriched the whole. References to ongoing custody battles, medical ethics quandaries, and WSB intrigue gave context without overshadowing the subject. Farewells and interruptions emphasized life's disruptions in Port Charles. Dawn approached the following chapter. James may soften over time, but Cody's perseverance has the potential to mend the rift. Josslyn would emerge stronger, shaped by her experiences into a wiser agent or civilian. Anna and Britt's conflict could turn into mutual respect or escalating rivalry. In General Hospital, such days establish legacies. Dissownment emphasized the importance of forgiveness. Being gutted created resilience. The lasting realities cleared the way for healing. The community, as resilient as ever, prepared for whatever came next in their interwoven lives. The July 16th episode of General Hospital had plenty of emotional twists and dramatic confrontations around Port Charles. One of the most sad scenes involved young James, whose emotions of betrayal drove him to strike out at Cody. James, hurt and perplexed by recent developments, attempted to make sense of the complex situation unfolding around him. During an intense discussion, he pushed Cody away, making it painfully plain that he no longer wanted him in his life. The scene devastated everyone concerned, especially Cody, who had been attempting to put things right despite the challenging circumstances. Cody was visibly startled by James' response. He recognized that the child was acting out of pain and disappointment, but hearing those words still hurt. He tried to tell James that he cared about him and would never purposefully harm him. Unfortunately, James' feelings were too strong, and he refused to listen. The devastating experience made Cody wonder if he would ever be able to mend the harm. Elsewhere, Josslyn was struggling with her own personal torment. Recent events had already put immense strain on her, and the recent disclosures further exacerbated her misery. She battled to maintain her composure as unpleasant truths and difficult choices consumed her thoughts. Friends and family members realized something was awry, but Josslyn struggled to open out entirely. Josslyn was distraught as the reality of her circumstances became increasingly apparent. The sense of loss and uncertainty about her future caused a severe emotional wound. She attempted to remain tough, but her sadness became more obvious. Those closest to her were concerned about the emotional impact these occurrences were having on her. Meanwhile, Anna encountered another disturbing circumstance concerning Britt. Tensions rose swiftly as questions, accusations, and unresolved issues appeared. Anna, never one to stay silent when she felt someone had crossed a boundary, confronted Britt immediately. Their interaction was strong and angry. Anna made it plain that she was outraged by recent events and expected explanations. She questioned motivations, demanded explanations, and refused to accept anything except the truth. The confrontation highlighted the two women's convoluted past and served as a reminder that old battles are never really forgotten in Port Charles. Britt, on the other hand, was not easily intimidated. She defended herself and tried to explain her point of view, but Anna wasn't convinced. Their heated exchange increased doubt about what might happen next. The tension between them indicated that future fights could be even more explosive. Relationships in Port Charles remained strained as secrets and emotional wounds threatened to drive individuals apart. Family alliances, friendships, and romantic relationships all encountered new problems. Characters questioned who they could trust and whether forgiveness was genuinely possible. The episode combined emotional sadness and dramatic confrontations, providing viewers with several unforgettable moments. James' terrible rejection of Cody was one of the day's most emotional scenes, and Josslyn's despair brought another layer of sadness to the ongoing plots. At the same time, Anna's heated confrontation with Britt added suspense and conflict to the program. As events progress, Port Charles residents will undoubtedly confront even more tough options. Cody may continue to try to repair his friendship with James, but the path ahead remains difficult. Josslyn must determine how to proceed after such emotional pain, while Anna's confrontation with Britt may result in additional discoveries and unanticipated consequences. The July 16th episode demonstrated once more that no secret remains hidden indefinitely and that every action has consequences. Emotions ran high, relationships were tested to the limit, and viewers were left wondering what dramatic surprises would come next in the ever-changing world of General